Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna do the second part of Tesla. So first part was about the valuation, basically like what I'm always used to do with all the company that I'm introducing in this channel. But for Tesla, I wanted to make a second part just to show you basically how to maybe make a model. Um, and also I would like to this video to be a, let's say, collaborative video, because I will make some assumptions to build this model, and obviously I don't know everything, so all my assumptions might be, let's say, different, conservative, or let's say wrong. So I would like to get your input down the comments, to give me any, let's say, correction that I need to do, and maybe if I have like a lot of correction to be performed, maybe I can make an update of this model. But basically, I want really to this video to be a collaborative video. So basically, I want just to give you like what I will present you at the end of this model, so that actually you have an idea of where I am going to. And basically, the first thing that I want to develop is how much revenue the company will be doing, and for each of the subsections, which is car sales, robotaxi, insurance, and energy. Based on this, I want to develop what is like the gross profits. So consider a specific gross margin for each of these departments, let's say of these sections, and then get the gross profit. Based on this, I will make also some assumptions on the capex, on the depreciation, and end up with a free cash flow. That when I divide it by the number of shares, I get like a earning per share. And if I apply a specific ratio, a PE ratio of 10, 20, 30, this is where you can have an idea of where the share price is going to be in the next years. So at the moment of the video, the share price is $730. So as you can see, if we go like, let's say, compared to the next years, the valuation is quite low. But this is just taking into account all the assumptions that I will present you right now. So I have 14 assumptions, and what I have been doing here is to put a number in front of each of these assumptions. So if you have any comments on any of them, please on the comments mention the number that I'm referring here on this slide, so that discussion might be easier for communication. So the first assumption, I need to make assumptions for almost everything. So the first, like average sale price per car will be $55,000. The gross margin will be around 20% at the beginning of 2020, and then I made an assumption that it will go up to 25% in 2030, because the Gigafactory will have improved their technology, and the cost of product basically for a car will be much less. So it's gradual. I put it from 20 to 25% sequentially on the coming years. The second point is about the vehicle software. So this is already being sold at $10 per month, but I consider the subscription rate will be 100% for each Tesla owner, which I think, because it's so cheap, that none of the owner will just refuse this type of, let's say, software device. Also, the company will produce, so that's really like a big assumption, so just let me know what you think about it, but Tesla will build 1 gigafactory per year over the next, let's say, 10 years. And the price per factory will be around $5 billion. This price is important for the capex and depreciation calculation. Also, I consider that this gigafactory will last only 10 years, and after this will not be producing anymore. But because we only, let's say, do the model until 2030, you will not have any, let's say, decrease of throughput of any of the gigafactory in my model. Also, the car production per gigafactory will be ramping up from 100,000 cars per year up to 400,000 cars on year 4, and possibly 500 for a few gigafactories like Shanghai or Berlin. Also, Tesla has been starting a business related to insurance for the cars, And because they have a lot of data that they can extract from any driver, I believe they will be able to cut, let's say, the price on the let's say on the average that is around like 1,500, so that they will be more competitive compared to a normal insurance company. And probably the subscription rate, I consider this as 50% of the total car owners. Also, I don't know if the gross margin is good, but I consider like a huge gross margin, because here the cars will be like so safe that there won't be, let's say, any issue on this side. Seventh point, which is one of the most important, you will see later, is for the full safe driving for the robotaxis. I consider first that 50% of the car owners will play the game of giving their car for a robotaxi. And also, they will do this for 25% of the time, which means that probably between 10 and 5 p.m., they will just give their car to the robotaxi network and get it back when they go back from work. I consider a total revenue, so let's say, of $10 per hour when it's being used. And Tesla, because Elon Musk was discussing during this full self-driving day, he was mentioning about a 30% take rate of the revenue. So this is what I would call like a gross margin of 30% in this case of the total robotaxi revenue, fleet revenue. Next, these ones I'm really not very, let's say, accurate in terms of revenue estimation. For the energy storage, I know that I will consider 1 megawatt hour installation increase per year, but I'm not really aware of how much revenue it will generate. So if you have any idea, just let me know. Regarding the solar glass roof, New York announced that the Gigafactory in New York announced that they would produce around 1,000 roofs per week, with an average price per roof around $30,000. I consider also a gross margin of 30% here. So this is taken from the a typical solar panel company. I took SolarEdge as a reference, which has a 30% gross margin. Okay, next, related to the OPEX, you can have, so I considered 20% year-over-year increase for the research and development over the next year, so sequentially. SG&A, I consider it was like a proportional increase to the number of cars sold in the year compared to the previous year, which means that more Gigafactory will need more people to build it, will need more money to pay. Also, I consider the tax rate of 20% of the operating income is just a generic one. I'm not sure if it's going to be applicable for Tesla. Consider the slight share numbers increase over the next years, 2 million shares increase per year. Probably doing like possibly a dilution if they need extra money, but I don't think so. But it's conservative. And the last one, I consider initial cash beginning of 2020 of $8 billion. Based on this, let's go to the Excel file just to input all this data and then see what the model is going to give us. So let's go. Okay. So the first table that I develop, I start with basic, is very basic, is I want to know how many cars are produced per year and what is the total fleet in terms of million cars. As you can see, I put the 9 factory that I consider over the next, let's say, whatever, 10 years. And each of them, you will see, will produce 100,000 cars, 200,000 cars, 350, and then 400. Only for Shanghai and Berlin, I consider even like a throughput of 500,000 cars per year. Look at here on 2020, I only consider a very few number of cars produced because Fremont is closed and Shanghai is in its, let's say, ramp-up phase. So it's already considering this pandemic in the model. Here, these are the numbers of cars sold per year. So you will see that in 2030, Tesla will produce 2.8 million cars per year, which is again based on my assumptions. So the first part, how to calculate this gross profit, I consider the sales, the car average price of $55,000. I apply a 20% to 25% margin, let's say, on each of the years, and I end up with the total gross profit for each of the years. Same for the vehicle software business, considering a $10 per month per user, 100% subscription rate, and it's giving me, let's say, already an operating revenue. Regarding the energy storage, this is the point that I was mentioning to you. I don't have any information of the price of revenue, let's say, per megawatt hour installed. So actually it's conservative. I consider that the revenue is 0 for the energy storage. But I managed to make some revenue for, at least for the solar glass roof, which I was mentioning, 1,000 roofs per week with a $30,000 per roof, with a gross margin of 30%, is going to give us a gross profit of $0.5 billion per year. I didn't consider any increase, as you can see, increase of revenue, because the same. I prefer to be conservative on this side, but if we have any idea of where the company might be going into the next years, I can input that in the revised model. Now is the interesting part, the robotaxis. As I mentioned to you on the assumption, this is all the main factors that I have to input in my model. So 30% margin for Tesla, 50% of the people lending their car, they use it, they will give it 25% of the time, and it will generate $10 per hour of, let's say, gross profit. I consider this the number of cars for each year as the total fleet number. So it means that if I calculate here, it's going to be a big calculation, but basically I consider the total fleet for at the particular year for the calculation. Okay, and as you can see here, it's very interesting. Look at the final result. The revenue is 80 billion, so probably less than the sales business related to cars. But look, the gross profit actually is twice more than the cars selling, because the gross margin here, I consider it as 100%. It might be like a bit less, but I already did very conservative assumptions here, I think, by considering 50% of people subscribing to this business, and just giving it for 25% of the time. But basically, as you can see here on the figures, robotaxi fleet will generate more gross profit than the cars themselves. And I think this is here that Tesla has a hidden gem that nobody actually is really, let's say, considering in their model, or at least talking about. When I see a lot of videos, they don't even speak about these numbers. Maybe I'm wrong, but please correct me if you have any remarks about this business. Regarding the insurance, the same. I consider that 50% will subscribe to a Tesla insurance at $1,000 per year. So if I consider for each year the total fleet number, the revenue will also increase a lot, and generate also a very decent number, up to $11 billion of revenue just for the insurance. So basically, I did a pre-calculation for each of the subsections, so subdivision, let's say. And now I can add the total revenue, but also I can add the total gross profit. As I mentioned to you, each of these business has a different gross margin. So you cannot just define like a basic 20-25% gross margin of the company. No, you cannot, because robotaxi has a much bigger gross margin, insurance also. So that's why you can only sum up the gross profit altogether from the ones that were pre-calculated for each subdivision. So that's where we are. Now, based on this, let's say, gross profit, we need to remove all the OPEX. So basically, research and development, where I added like 20% year-over-year increase. So you can see it goes from 1.3 billion to 8 billion in 2030. And same for the SG&A, which was let's say 2.6 up to $20 billion in 2030. Based on this, I generate almost like a pre-tax income in the yellow line, where I apply already a 20% tax, which gives me like the net income after tax. This is this line. Now, to get my free cash flow, I need to get this value and remove also the depreciation. And for this, I consider for every year when I install a new Gigafactory, $5 billion, I need to consider that depreciation will be $500 million per year per Gigafactory. And this is here where I calculate basically the depreciation for each year. So here we have only one Gigafactory, let's say, it's $500 million depreciation. But as soon as I get a second one built, I'm gonna have like 2 times 500 million, so it's gonna be 1 billion. And you see it's gonna climb up as soon as we have extra Gigafactory built. So here is the free cash flow. The free cash flow is basically the net income after tax minus depreciation. And as you can see here, the free cash flow is gonna get crazy over the next 10 years, up to $77 billion on 2030. So now that we have this, we can calculate the earning per share, so the free cash flow divided by the numbers of shares. And this is where we can after apply this famous PE ratio and identify, let's say, give you a range of how much the company will be if it has a PE of 10 or 20 or 30. And these values, this is the values that I put into my graph. And basically, this is how I build my model and get based on the assumption. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so it's just my opinion. And I repeat, I will do some error on these assumptions. I will have to correct time over time. But basically, it's just to give you an idea of, with these assumptions, how much share price value you can expect. Okay. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. It's gonna be easier for me to show you. Okay. And basically, the conclusion on this analysis is that it's not because the revenue here, for example, for the robotaxi is less than a car sales, that actually it can generate more free cash flow. Because each of these subdivisions, as I was mentioning, has a different gross margin. And as you can see, over the next years, like until let's say 2030, the robotaxi fleet will be the one generating most of the revenue. And also, because this is going to be generating most of the gross profit, it will also boost the gross margin from 20 to 50%. And also the operating margin will also increase from 12 to 40%. This is, I think, like very, very conservative. It means that there will be no competition on the robotaxi, which will be actually like a big fight against Google, with Uber, with Lyft. So many competition. It means that this model is only applicable if Tesla can really manage this full self-driving, doesn't have any competition, maintains the price, doesn't have any, let's say, tax from the politic regarding this taxi, this full self-driving. So there might be a lot of things changing and maybe contributing to like a lower revenue of Tesla. But basically here it's like an ideal world valuation. And I like to see it at least to see where we are going if, let's say, the story is a happy ending story, where we're going to end up. And that's the value that you can see here that are quite high compared to the current share price. Okay, that's the share price number for the PE of 30, for a PE of 20, and for a PE of 10. Okay. So just let me know really if you have any comments. I would really like to have your contribution on this. I would like to make it a collaborative, let's say, model development. And of course, I know that many people already have not a lot of knowledge more than me, and that's the reason why I would like to us to contribute all together And if really there's a lot of comments and input, maybe I will do another video, an update, to give you the latest expectation. So again, I'm not a financial advisor, so please consider this just as an exercise. And I hope you enjoyed this with me. And then, yeah, good job if you stay until the end of the video. And I see you next time for another episode. Thank you. Bye bye.